We are following breaking news. Milwaukee police are questioning a suspect in a string of killings dating back more than 20 years. We are just moments away from a news conference with the police chief and district attorney updating us on the investigation. We'll bring that to you live. Good evening. I'm Shelby Croft.
And I'm Kathy Michaelby in for Terry tonight. Now, police say DNA evidence links one man to the murders of at least 9 women. Since police made that announcement in May, that's when they said 6, they have not had someone in custody until now. And sources tell 12 News 49-year-old Walter E. Ellis of Milwaukee was arrested Saturday at the Park
Ellis was known to strangle his victims and was linked to the murders through DNA evidence. He was arrested in 2009 after a DNA sample taken from him while in prison for a different crime matched evidence from these crime scenes. In 2011, he was convicted of 7 counts of first-degree intentional homicide and sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. His case raised questions about the police investigation into the murders, as some critics argued that more could have been done to apprehend him earlier. The case also highlighted the dangers faced by marginalized communities, particularly women involved in sex work and drug use, who are often more vulnerable to violence. Taking a look at earlier on in his life, Walter E. Ellis, born on June 24, 1960, and raised in the heart of Milwaukee, he encountered the realities of urban life from an early age. While details about his early family life are sparse, it is known that he attended local schools, where he likely confronted the disparities that often characterized urban education systems. Despite these challenges, he displayed intelligence and promise, demonstrating an aptitude for academics that hinted at his potential. However, the environment in which Ellis was raised also exposed him to influences that would later intersect with his trajectory. Milwaukee, like many urban centers, grappled with issues such as poverty, crime, and substance abuse, factors that can profoundly impact a young person's development. These influences may have played a role in shaping Ellis's worldview and choices as he grew older. And one may speculate that as Ellis progressed through his formative years, he likely faced pivotal moments and decisions that would shape his future. Whether influenced by personal circumstances, peer relationships, or broader societal factors, these experiences would ultimately contribute to the person he would become. While the specifics of his early life remain somewhat elusive, they undoubtedly laid the foundation for the events that would unfold in later years. From the streets of Milwaukee to the corridors of justice, his journey reflects the complex interplay of individual agency and environmental influences, a narrative that continues to intrigue and provoke contemplation. Walter's criminal history is dominated by a series of heinous acts that terrorized the city of Milwaukee and left a lasting scar in its collective psyche. Despite early signs of promise and potential, his life took a turn as he became enmeshed in a cycle of violence and crime. Ellis's criminal record dates back to the early 1980s when he began to run afoul of the law. His offenses ranged from relatively minor infractions to more serious crimes, foreshadowing the escalation of violence that would define his later years. However, it was in the 1990s that Ellis's criminal activities took a particularly sinister turn. Between 1986 and 2007, he embarked on a spree of brutal murders that targeted vulnerable women in Milwaukee's inner city. His victims, often prostitutes and drug addicts, were subjected to unspeakable acts of violence, their lives tragically cut short by his depravity. Despite the efforts of law enforcement to apprehend him, Ellis eluded capture for years, operating in the shadows as a predatory figure haunting Milwaukee's streets. It wasn't until advances in forensic technology, including DNA evidence, finally linked him to the murders that justice began to catch up with him. In 2009, he was arrested and charged with multiple counts of homicide, bringing an end to his reign of terror. The revelation of his crime sent shockwaves through the community, forcing residents to confront the dark underbelly of their city and sparking conversations about issues of poverty, substance abuse, and violence against women. In 2011, Ellis was convicted of 7 counts of first-degree intentional homicide and sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. His name became synonymous with evil in the annals of Milwaukee's history, a chilling reminder of the capacity for human cruelty lurking beneath the surface of society. On December 1st, 2013, the son of a bitch passed away due to complications from his diabetes. The story of Walter E. Ellis serves as a cautionary tale, highlighting the devastating consequences of unchecked violence and the importance of vigilance in confronting the forces of darkness that threaten to tear communities apart. Thank you for watching.